when the NAACP was born, the notion that we would all gather in a room like this to think about the direction of our state would have been inconceivable. Some of us would have been kept out of the room. The room would have been very limited. So much has changed. Today in Alabama, your food is safe because I had the courage to go to the docks at Mobile and tell the folks from Vietnam and China that if you don't produce your food at the same standard that we produce it in Alabama, it's not going to make it in Alabama. Today, your children are eating healthier in your school because I looked at the statistic that said this generation of children is not going to outlive you. Ladies and gentlemen, as a politician, if you don't do something about that, you should never vote for me again. And that's why we created the Farm to School program, where we buy agriculture from our farmers and put them on every child's plate in Alabama, so that they grow up and be productive and healthy young men and women in Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had the courage and leadership to travel the world. I took the first official delegation to Cuba when I was criticized and said we shouldn't go. But because of those trips to Cuba, over 50% of the chicken that goes to Cuba today comes out of Alabama. Over 90% of the wood that goes to Cuba today comes out of Alabama. I took the first official delegation to Africa. I opened a trade office in India. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the leadership ability to lead Alabama, to reach across party lines, to make positive things happen. I passed some of the toughest food safety laws in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the ability to lead Alabama into the future.
Ron, you know how much I admire you. For one of the moments in this campaign where I was a little bit unhappy with you was the day that you did, or the week that you did to roll out the casino gambling. You came not so far from here. You went over to Druid Hills and Fountain Heights, and you said, I want to put a casino there. I didn't see you on 280. I did see you next to the Galleria. There's a lot of open land out there, by the way, next to the Galleria, but I didn't see you say I was put a casino there. I saw you go to the Edmund Pettus Bridge that some of us know so well and say, I see a casino right here. I didn't see you go to Decatur or to Montevallo. Some of us get a little bit worried when the theory seems to be that some communities should get some kinds of jobs and other communities should get other kinds of jobs. That's a big difference between us and this governor's race.
You know why I went to the Edmund Pettus Bridge? It's because I wanted to give those folks in the Black Belt a quality job. You know that's how you change people's lives. Give them some jobs that they haven't had in the past 7 years. Because if I was in Congress, I would fight for public option. I would make sure that everybody in Alabama has affordable health care. I would not settle for any program that left 25 million people without health care. You know, we have a president that sent our troops to war looking for weapons of mass destruction that wasn't there. But he couldn't see a hurricane in New Orleans that was there. Folks, let's get real. I would fight for public option, I would fight for health care, and I wish that I had a vote in Congress.
The first candidates forum in this governor's race was down on the beach at Point Clear, back on August 1st. All the Republicans were there, Commissioner Sparks was there, and a whole lot of very conservative businessmen were there. We were asked the question, what do you think about the health care bill moving through the House that includes a public option? Ron, remember which answer was? Your answer was, I'm against it. You didn't say at the BCA, I'm going to fight for the public option. You said, I'm against it. And you ticked off all the reasons the folks in that room wanted to hear. Now let me tell you what I think. I'm where President Obama is. I think a public option could be one way to get us to universal access. As the President said in the brilliant speech he made to Congress several months ago, it is not the only way, and we've got to find a way to get this right. I look forward to the House and Senate resolving their differences. I look forward toward them coming up with a bill that does the following, that says to every low-income American, we're going to give you a subsidy to help you get insurance. that expands Medicaid so we cover the gaps that exist in it, that goes to small businesses and says, we're going to give you the help you need to provide insurance to people. I am for those things. I don't change that based on what audiences I'm talking to.
Congressman, do you remember the quote that you made in the east side of the state that said it's hard to be a Democrat today? Do you remember the quote that said it's hard to support President Obama's plan? Let's talk about leadership. I've lived under Katrina. I've been elected official under Katrina. And I was in the congressman's district before he was. The day before and the day after. I was making sure that every poultry farmer in the state had enough feed to feed the chickens in case the power went down. I made sure that every poultry farmer in the state had generators in case the power went down. And after Katrina, I put employees in South Alabama to make sure that the city governments and county governments, we could work with them through the red tape of FEMA and assist them in every way that we can. I stood up for disaster packages when the members of my own delegation voted against them.
Ron, you actually have put some good ideas on the table. I agree with you that we need to regulate and tax gambling. Here's a place we differ. I'm going to tax them at the national average. You won't say. I'm going to go to big, giant companies, not you, not family farms, not families, big, giant companies who are harvesting timber in this state, and I'm going to say, you are not going to get the deal you have been getting from the state of Alabama. We're going to tax you at the same rate that Georgia and Mississippi and other places tax you. Here's the reality. We got timber here, folks. They got to come here. We got the timber. They want to harvest it. The pulp and paper industry and the big boys in the timber industry. Why is it that you can cross, Ron, 10 miles between Alabama and the Georgia border, and the property tax rate for big companies is 1/4 in Alabama what it is in Georgia? That's unfair. But you know where it comes from, ladies and gentlemen? The 1901 Constitution. Here's all the President of the United States is saying. Charter schools give us an opportunity for a little bit of extra creativity, a little bit of extra innovation in particular schools. You know, the reality is in Alabama, we kind of already have charter schools. We just don't call them that. We think School of Math and Science is. We think School of Fine Arts around the corner is. But I want more of those kinds of schools. I'd love to see one in Ensley. Not a casino, but a charter school. I'd love to see a charter school in Fairfield. I'd love to see a charter school in Selma, not a casino, but a charter school. And you know what we're passing up by being bullheaded about this? $150 million.
I hope we've got a lot of reporters running, because here's an opportunity where we disagree very strongly. And hopefully there's not an opportunity to flip-flop it in the future. I will not take one dime of money out of the public education system in Alabama to create a charter school in Alabama. If you want to start segregating our schools, start taking money out of the rural sections of our state to where we have bigger and better schools. I want every child in Alabama to have the same quality of education, whether you live in Wilcox County or whether you live in Mountain Grove.
Facts are very stubborn things. Ron, this was what you and I had a little bit of disagreement about. I'm all for the community block grants. I get that kind of stuff to folks in my district as a congressman. I just want that stuff to be posted on the internet so that everybody in this audience has a 30-day comment period to call in and give their judgments on how the money is spent. It's not your money. It's the taxpayers' money. And I just want to give them a chance to have a little bit of transparency. Because you know one of the big problems in Montgomery, no matter whether the Democrat or Republican is in charge, a few narrow forces sit around the table that is about the size of maybe the middle ring of this room around Natalie Davis. There's no sunshine in that room. There's no tape recorder in that room. And we don't know what they do when they're inside. But they make decisions that order the futures of every one of us in this audience. Transparency and accountability are things that we should celebrate.